All right, here we are, ready to get into this heroic division game. I'm super pumped. I have Slexia with me tonight. How are you doing tonight, Slex?
Good. I'm ready to do this. Excited to see some familiar faces on teams that have never existed before. So it's exciting. First heroic cast for me of the season and for you as well.
Yes, absolutely. I'm excited to see how these plays compare to the rest of these week's games because honestly, I've been impressed with every division's game so far, and every series has gone to game 3 as well. So it's been quite an exciting week for my cast for NGS, anyways. We can pop over and take a look at these map selections here.
Sure.
So, here's how it went down. We had Richard, and Ree won the coin toss, and they decided to take first pick, which left YameteKudasai with the map pick here. They did ban out Infernal Shrines and Brax's Holdout on the side of Richard, and Ree. YameteKudasai deciding to take away Cursed Hollow and Towers of Doom. That brings us to Volskaya Foundry for our first game of tonight's Best of 3 series. How are you feeling about that one, Slex?
I'm excited to see how it goes. I know that both teams will be on top of their macro, and it's just like who can hold the point the longest, who has that right comp for that brawl that happens there for every objective. So I don't know, both teams are ready. I'm kind of ready just to get into it.
I'm ready to get into this as well. Readies are out in chat, so we should be getting into draft here any second. I'm excited to see how they play the macro game, because I know if you can get that turret fast enough and then rotate directly to that biotic emitter, you got those 2 items for first objective, potentially. Feels kind of good.
Or depending how you split, if you just go for the steal on the turret immediately.
Yeah, that also happens quite frequently. Especially, I see it a lot more in higher ranked, tiered, skilled games, however you want to put it, if they have the coordination to pull off an invade.
Yeah, and I think we will see some high velocity plays, but no one is starting, so we're just waiting still.
I'm not quite sure who we're waiting for here, but that's okay.
I see Richard here in chat. What's up? Wipeout here, the most supportive fanboy of Richard Gere, also in chat. Welcome.
Oh, Heyday is around too.
Nice. What's up, Day? Oh, and I see your Jazzy It Up bot as well, but here we go into draft.
Alright, as I said, game number 1 being played on Volskaya Foundry here. YameteKudasai on the left, Richard and Ree taking the right.
Someone proclaiming how much they love someone named Angie in the lobby chat. Anyway, we see the first ban from the bag of Richards here, and that is May.
Yeah, that Snowball, from what I understand, is up and available to pick now, and NGS is not banned out anymore.
Yeah, I think it's available, and then if it were to take someone off the map, I guess the lobby would have to be remade. But I think May is just strong on these points. You know, her ability to just live forever is rough if people don't turn on her. There was a Cassia ban too.
Yeah, not just the ability to live forever, but she had some very nice zoning tools in her kit. The Blizzard, just to keep a whole area blocked out so people don't get rooted. So I don't blame them for taking this one away. You also have you could do some cheeky stuff with Snowball to steal camps as well. So I kind of like the ban.
I like the Ana ban, especially on the beacon channel points. Her grenade can just be so devastating. So definitely a top tier healer banned out. But curious what YameteKudasai will have as their second ban. Is it more of a target ban or a meta ban? Maybe an ETC? It's a Garrosh.
Yeah, I think that's nothing unusual. Garrosh ban. I mean, I know ETC is a favorite ban right now with that level 13 talent reducing cooldown of alts. But Garrosh still a pretty decent tank.
Muffin picking up Chromie first, since that wasn't banned out. Even though she was slightly nerfed, it can still be oppressive, especially if you have someone that knows what they're doing. Plus her time traps just offer vision all over this map.
Angie picking up that ETC on the side of YameteKudasai, followed by the Thrall being picked up. Interesting to be grabbing their offlaner so early. If he plays the offlane, I mean, sometimes you have the Thrall roam with the 4-man.
Rise again.
Right, Deckard Cain though being picked up by Creeper's bot, and Dicky, aka Richard Gere, picking up the Greymane. Very powerful auto attack player, Richard Gere. So interesting to see him on the Greymane, as I've mostly seen him on ranged auto attackers in the past.
Greymane seems to be kind of popular right now. I see it banned and picked a lot, especially in these NGS series. He seems to be something people don't want to play against.
He's always like on the top pick, top ban, I think, for like every division. And the final ban for YameteKudasai was Johanna, and the bag of Richards banning Stukov.
Yeah, Richard, and Ree still need to grab their tank, so banning out another tank from them here is just kind of choking those picks a bit. Still have to see a healer being picked up on the side of YameteKudasai.
Let the Inquisition
That's what they're gonna grab here. They pick up that Whitemane, followed up by the Phoenix. So they don't. I'm not sure who they're gonna be putting in this off lane this time. They could have Thrall roam with the 4-man. They could have Phoenix roam with the 4-man, or either one of them could be the off lane here. So we'll just have to wait to see how they're gonna play it.
Yeah, I'm curious if we're gonna see a Crash Lightning Thrall or something in the 4-man, something interesting, and. I don't know, like a Li Ming or a Jaina or something to round off their draft. But here we see the final picks for Richard, and Rih, and it is Anubarak and Yrel.
Anubarak is one of those tanks you don't see picked too often, but he can be really good into the ETC when he uses his burrow charge. He's unstoppable, so really easy interrupt onto any moshes if they decide to talent into mosh.
Whoa, Jazzy, Sonya being picked up. So we were speculating on offlane, right? Like, oh, is it Phoenix or Thrall? No, it's probably Sonya.
It's everyone.
Now that we see this, everyone is an offlaner for the team YameteKudasai. But I also like the Anubarak because of his ability to dive heroes and just have them get blown up. But we'll see how the follow-up is for Richard, and Rih. I know it's Ree, but I know they were trying to go for Richard, and it just wouldn't fit. So I'm done calling them Bag of Richards.
I wonder how much value the Anubarak CC is going to get here. I think it could be good. They have 3 melee heroes on their team. If they are not careful about how they are positioning in these team fights, it's just really easy 3-man stuns to follow up on, especially when you're trying to, you know, fight on those objective points. You kind of end up having everyone stacked on each other. It could be good for Anubarak here. And then you have that Chromie skill shots to follow up, and I mean, the best thing about Anubarak is if you land that burrow stun, you might immediately follow it up with a Q stun. That's plenty of time for Chromie to get out her abilities.
Right, and especially if someone's slowed, that's another way to allow the Anubarak to even go for a kill. So let's get into announcing these teams, Jazzy.
All right, on the blue side, we have YameteKudasai with Pick playing Whitemane, Angie on the ETC, Chang playing Thrall, Phaser on the Sonya, and Zedge playing the Phoenix.
4.
And on the red side, playing for Richard, and Rih, we have the Pie Maker on Anubarak, Muffin on Chromie, Crafty Devil on Yrel, Creeper Z Bot on Deckard, and Richard Gere himself playing Raven.
I already have Yrel Yell splitting off to go down at bottom, it looks like, to get that. So the rest of YameteKudasai is sticking around mid for a little bit. Trying to take advantage of the extra person. Sonya has gone down now. So just doing their normal like rotation between mid and top to get that soak. Camps up in about 20 seconds here if they want to try and go for those.
And Jazzy, as suspected, it is a Crash Lightning brawl, but Angie is just in a bit of trouble using that Gladiator's medallion, but dying anyway. Top lane, that's just first kill of the game. Hello?
And there's those camps coming up right now. We're going to have to see how they want to play this. Okay.
Alright, it's a pause. So we will see what is going on.
It's okay. I wanted to turn the volume down a little bit.
All right, they're saying it's lag.
Seems like a couple people hit a lag spike in the game.
I was interviewed by Bashing. It was called like the Caster Roundup, and he was asking like if there's anything frustrating about casting ever. And I said typically in the higher level games there's a lot of pauses, whether it be like this is on West, not Central, like we need to remake, or it's just pause is utilized so much more in these higher level games because they're taking it very seriously. And you love to see it and you hate to see it at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, just a little food for thought while we're waiting. Having that gray main here, it's gonna allow Richard, and Reed to be able to shred through those camps. Oh, here we go. You have to unpause one of us, right?
Yep, doing it now.
Thanks. All right, here we go. Having the gray main on the side of Richard, and Rhea is going to allow them to shred through those turret camps pretty easily. And if they wanted to pull off the invade, I'm not sure that YameteKudasai is going to have their camp done as fast and out of there before they go for it. So here's Richard here, getting that turret right here.
Yeah, and he can decide to either go for an invade or possibly get a pick elsewhere, considering 2 people have been allocated from blue side to getting that turret camp.
YameteKudasai picking up their turret now. Looks like they're keeping eyes around the biotic emitter. They have started that now. Shredding it down.
Like I was saying, Chromie's using these time traps as a ward. Oh, and there's the invade by Angie again in rough positioning after it's already channeled by Richard and Rick, and is again going to fall. But Yarel drops as well, dropping the biotic emitter. So does Richard here on that gray main. Anubrak's able to pick up the biotic emitter and get out of there, but not without losing 3 members of his own team. Jazzy, what a fight.
Yeah, and also now down almost half a level on XP over that.
It was a risky play, like a high risk, high reward situation for the ETC to go in there. He did die again, but 3 members of the Richards going down was definitely worth, especially considering that the turret was dropped as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely came out on top for that fight. We have Richard picking up the siege camp in the top lane for Richard and Ree right now. Siege camp also picked up on the side of YameteKudasai. They still have their turret going into this next phase as well. So a turret on the side of YameteKudasai and a biotic emitter on the side of Richard and Ree.
Terminal online. Take control of it to pilot.
Yeah, and Phoenix as well as Greymane are top lane looking to clear those siege camps. 1 member of each team on this beacon point. It's just really a waiting game. Blue team has level 7s, and I think Red is going to have to look for that talent before they're able to step back on the point, Jazzy.
Yeah, if I were Richard, and Rhea, I'd be getting that level 7 right now. Maybe look for the pick on Phoenix. He's overextended top, and that looks like what they're trying to do here. He's going to be able to teleport out. Decker ready to try and catch him on the other side, and there goes the pick, right? Chromie gets that with the Dragon's Breath. Down goes the Phoenix, and now they can look to come down and secure this objective for a bit.
I thought Phoenix had the turret. I don't even remember seeing PTC pick it up, but my eyes could have been deceiving me. Anyway, we see a strong positioning by the Richards now on this beacon point, while Greymane again goes to that turret camp. It is up and picks that up.
A little bit of a skirmish going down here with the Sonya and Yrel. Sonya holding her own quite well in this bottom lane, forcing Crafty Devil to have to step back and tap. And on the side of YameteKudasai, they're now picking up that turret, and they're also going to come to this fight with 2 turrets now. On the side of Richard, and Rhea, they have 1 turret and still that biotic emitter up and available to use if they need to.
Yeah, we're looking at 64% channeled for the Richards and about 55% for YameteKudasai. Again, time traps being used, this time not for vision, but for rotations in onto this point. Thrall is able to get that down, and I think it's time to see this fight. We're at 97% and climbing. We're in overtime, and here we go, Jazzy.
Down goes the biotic emitter and turrets. Anubrak goes in for the burrow, hits the stun, but he's going to fall for that. Richard getting quite low in the back as well. Looks to be one of the next target's focus, and they're just going to back up here, giving that point back over to the side of YameteKudasai.
Yeah, they have a very small window of being able to kill people before the Greymane is executed himself. Muffin can only do so much poke damage, and if he does not get a kill, then it's kind of like they have to reset on the side of the Richards.
It looks like they're going to give this one up. We already have Greymane pushing top, getting that going to pressure in the top wall there. Typically of these protectors, you just take them straight top, open up that top wall, and take down the fountain right away. It sets you up in a position for next objective here.
That's where they're headed. There is a little bit of pushback, obviously, from the Richards, but YameteKudasai does have level 10, so they want to use this Triglog to bait the other team out before getting pinned. They might be doing that. And
that was
there
a
comes the white main.
beautiful rewind from the Chromie coming out there. They managed to get the pick onto the white main, but now they're just trying to get something out of this Triglog protector. Walking forward, looking to get that fountain and maybe the front tower wall. Sailwild and Listen coming out, connecting onto the Phoenix, and down he's going to go as well. They're going to have to back up now.
That is the short time frame that I'm talking about, where they have to get these kills. And that Triglov was pretty much wasted.
Thrall getting stuck in a time trap here. Looks like the rest of the team might be trying to get him, but he's going to back out. This biotic emitter is going to go over to the side of Richard, and Nari. Sonya doing a lot of work in this bottom lane, though. Has managed to take down the whole front wall. Is holding her own very well against the Yrel.
Turret and Kara again getting picked up by Richard here. He is on top of his macro game here. Like a second can't go by without that getting picked up. This is going to give them the option to possibly invade if they would like, but I think they're just playing it safely.
Yeah, they could have invaded. They have that biotic emitter and the turret up, so if they wanted to go in there, steal the XP, and lose an item for it, I think it'd be worth it. But playing it safe is always, you know, the safe option. I do have to say, what a good job on the defense with that last protector. They managed to save their fountain in the top, which means that they're going to be on pretty even footing going into the next objective. Both teams have fountains. They're going to be able to back up and get that tap if needed.
Absolutely. It's a tough call right now to see, you know, who scales better essentially in these team fights. Seeing the way that the Richards were able to get those kills with the Triglov in play for the opposite team shows the blow-up potential they have, but when all 5 members of the opposing team are on the point against them, it's pretty chaotic. So perhaps their communication has to be a little bit more on point, and they can just whittle down the other team one by one.
Anubarak here over here getting a little bit caught up, but we have that time lapse coming up from the Chromie and the Earthquake now connecting. Stage dive coming in, landing onto the Decker. Chromie pops Stasis, I believe, there. Is trying to escape. Anubarak and Yrel still in the back line. Phoenix trying to get his ult off there. Ends up dying for it, but Chromie goes down as well. We still have Whitemane cocooned in the back. Finally gets out of that. And now they're just, you know, do the 1-for-1 trade and backing up.
Yeah, Richard Gere went in for a kill on that Thrall, and there was just no one else but him. He was even within the biotic emitter. There was the stay a while, but we need to see the Chromie also go for those kills. Yes, she was killed, but it was after the fact. And the oppression that Sonya's putting on that team is so great that I don't think she's even given the opportunity.
Richard, and Ree really need to come up here and defend this while they can. They're going to lose their fountain and lose that opportunity to back up and tap when they go in for these team fights over objective if they don't start defending this.
Both teams are even inexperienced though at this point on same talent tiers, almost exact with the experience. 2 seconds until this point is up and all members are also alive. 2 members of YameteKudasai are not up here though, so I mean this is favored for the side of the Richards.
We do have the turret up on the side of Richard, and Rhea. It looks like Sonya's going to go for the invade on that. Yrel's coming down, though, and is maybe going to catch her on here. But unfortunately for her, we have the Thrall here to back her up. So it's a 2v1 if she does try to do something here.
Yeah, excellent job at stealing that. Although the objective is at 50%, blue team does have time to make it up there. And they will have that toy in hand. But I think that both teams are looking for 16, and I'm curious if they're giving this. Nope, we see ETC stand on the point.
They're just waiting for the rest of the team to group. It's given enough time for Yrel to come up as well now. They want to take this fight before level 16s are on side of the YameteKudasai. We have the Earthquake come out, followed by the stage dive, power slide going on, but right into the stay a while and listen from the Decker. Muffin's getting stuck in the back line, and down goes a Chromie. Decker getting focused now. Phoenix just chasing her down. Pops is all, and it's going to be Anubarak falling as well here. They're trying to get that counter kill onto Sonya, but if they stick around too long, they're going to fall as well. And that's going to be a 3-for-0 in favor of YameteKudasai. They can now look to turn around and cap that objective point. Level 16s are hit, and they're going to grab that biotic emitter as well.
I don't know what's going on with the Chromie's positioning, or if she's just literally getting targeted immediately, but I think we're going to need to see the Richards come up with a different strategy in protecting their
Phoenix is doing an
backline.
invade on the camp here, catching the Greymane, trying to grab that siege camp. Whitemane here to back up, and here comes the Sonya as well. So they're just going to have to give this over. They don't have the resources right now to contest that.
Not 100% sure how this is going to play out. Both teams do have 16, and we're at 88% on both sides. It's climbing for the side of YameteKudasai.
Coming out here onto the Thrall. Doesn't quite manage to get a pick with it. Sonya's now just spinning in the back line. Cocoon hitting onto the Whitemane. They're now turning to focus on the Sonya, who gets stuck in the time trap. Stage dive coming out from the ETC, and there's a lot of back and forth. No picks yet, but Richard, and Ree getting quite low in this engage.
Yeah, that stage dive is adding massive value.
Oh, Phoenix almost getting picked off there by the Yrel.
Yeah, Yrel is oppressive, but I mean that ability to teleport is priceless for the Phoenix.
Alright, we're going to see the Trickle Out Protector siege down mid now. Just open up the map, have those periodic patas spawning in for the rest of the game. Creates a little bit more pressure in these lanes when they go down to get the next objective in the bottom here. Ideally, they go for the fountain here. Sonya already cleared out that entire wall, so it should be an easy fountain on the side of YameteKudasai. Maybe even a fort if they play it right, but Yrel doing all she can to defend this bottom fort.
Yeah, she's definitely trying. An entire team of the Richards is also here to defend, and the fort does manage to hang on by a
So
thread.
that is the extent
With the
of the
Triglav
protective
down
power.
though, blue side of the map
Impressive.
has a couple of macro objectives to pick up. I think now is the time to perhaps stick together, look for picks, use that blow up potential that we did see from the Richards, but they have to, I think they need to win an objective to really be able to push down some of these structures. I don't see that happening for them passively.
Thrall definitely looking to finish off that Crash Lightning. He's currently sitting at 29 stacks of the 30 needed. So he'll have that finished probably next time they run into any clumped enemies here. But yeah, YameteKudasai a bit ahead on XP here. So they'll hit those level 20s if they want to play the slow game first. Might have to force Richard and Ree into taking a team fight before that happens.
Biotic emitter is up, and immediately we see YameteKudasai head onto it. I don't even think that the Richards are going to have a chance to contest, but yeah, I don't know. We're seeing blue team really on top of their game too. Here's another time loop.
Beautiful knockback from the URL as well. Sail Wild Listen coming out. Not just Sonya, deleted stage dive coming out, connecting other couple members of Richard and Ree. And the Phoenix in the backline now just chasing down the Deckard. Manages to get the pick on him, and now he's teleporting out, avoiding a death. URL has no fear though. Pops that ult. She's not afraid because she has that up. And that's just going to be a 2-for-1, still in favor of YameteKudasai, and they're almost at those level 20s now, about half a level of XP away from hitting their level 20 power spike.
Stage dive and purification salvo is nasty. That is all I am taking away from this game right now. Those two ultimates used together just completely disables the enemy team. And if there's leap on top of that, which there isn't, it would be even more devastating. Can you imagine? I cannot believe how this is working out for them.
Yeah,
even though they did get some picks themselves, it's just amazing.
Exactly, that's what I was just about to say. It seems like every time they manage to get that pick and delete that target, they just turn it around with a stage dive and the purification salvo and manage to get a couple picks in return. It's always very frustrating. You go into the team fight, get the first pick, and then they still manage to turn it around once it's a 4v5. Do have this turret coming up in 4 seconds here, and it looks like YameteKudasai positioning for the invade as they do have their level 20s up and available now.
Although they did use one of the turrets in that last team fight, taking this one with that 20 talent tier advantage is like nothing ever happened. We see the side of the Richards still looking for level 20. That looks like they'll probably get that top lane, and we'll see this beacon point C the next place for our team fights. I don't know why I can't find words tonight, Jazzalene.
You just see that Thrall talent into Windrush at level 20, so he has that blink to kind of close some gaps or escape if he needs it in these fights.
Level 20s now picked up for the Richards. Bag of Richards, I'll start calling them again.
This is a big one for a new Barak. You get those basic ability cooldown reset, and you can just CC someone for such a long time. We also have the upgraded Stale While and Listen coming out from the Deckard, so you have the silence and blinds.
Right. Ooh. Flynn's used on the Phoenix. He did use his teleport, but here is a huge engage. Stage dive coming out, catching quite a few members to go down. Deckard and a Nubrak. Richard here looking to fight that Thrall, but falls himself, and that is 3 members down for the side of the Richards.
Chromie doing all she can, just trying to run away from the Thrall, but it's not going to work out for her. And here's Urel getting caught as well. All 5 members of Richard, and Ree going down. The Triglav Protector over to the side of YameteKudasai, and they're going to be pushing down in this bottom keep. Maybe even looking to end this game as these death timers are quite high. We are 11, 20, 17, 18 minutes into this match now.
Yeah, they take the opportunity to break the sidewall, go immediately for this keep. First person up will be the Deckard Kane, followed by a Nubrak, but it's safe to say this 4 is going to take quite a bit of damage and possibly fall completely.
Yeah, there's just not enough time to be able to kill this Triglav Protector and the heroes that are in it before the score goes down. So this is going to be game number 1, going over to the side of YameteKudasai. GG's and well played. What a scary team to go against. The stage dive followed up by the purification salvo from Phoenix was just absolutely devastating. You would just see everyone go in for the engage and then they're just all dead.
Right. Whitemane was so heavily protected there. She did die that one time on the first Triglav, but other than that, all she had to do was put her heal on her teammates and let them protect her. I don't think the Chromie was the pick there. She wasn't really able to blow up any targets except for maybe one using her abilities. The consistent poke was just healed up, and it was negated by everything that Whitemane was able to do. So that was just such a crazy comp, and good job by YameteKudasai.
They had so many people capable of getting onto the back line of Richard, and Rhea in this as well. I mean, you had Phoenix diving in at points, you had Thralls in the back line at points, you had Sonya. Just a lot to try and deal with, and it's really down to the Anubarak and the Yrel, if she sticks around in the back line, to kind of peel for them. And it just wasn't happening a lot of the time. Something to maybe interrupt that Phoenix ult is what they needed. I mean, they had the tools, it just wasn't happening.
They had the cocoon, they had the interrupt.
Yeah,
because the stage dive and the purification salvo was just devastating. Like,
yeah, and maybe just what was happening in a lot of these fights, those stage dives were quite well placed and catching
and
people.
Not to mention, Jazzy, the earthquake.
Yes, that
you could
on
not
top
go
of
anywhere. You couldn't go anywhere. The Whitemane's ultimate too was what is it, Purge the Wicked, or Divine Reckoning rather, that just allowed them to heal up, because she would drop that on top of those slowed targets, and there's just no way.
Yeah, chat saying Richard's game plan seemed to be single target bursts. Well, if that was their game plan, it kind of felt like the side of YameteKudasai was just like, well, we're just gonna kill them all, and all with one big wombo combo every team fight. It paired well. Definitely scary. All right.
Looks like we have the next lobby up. Game 2 in a best of 3. Seems to be we are headed to Dragonshire. My guess would be that this was picked up by, I don't know. It was picked by YameteKudasai. So the Richards went for first pick.
All right, let's take a look at these map selections then. Like we said, we are going to Dragonshire. If you guys are wondering how we got here, first map picked by YameteKudasai and won on Volskaya Foundry. Game number 2, we are going to Dragonshire, this time picked by Richard, and Rhea. Banned out for this series is Braxis Holdout, Infernal Shrines, Towers of Doom, and Cursed Hollow. Just waiting on the rest of YameteKudasai to get in this lobby, and we'll be getting into game number 2. What are you expecting to see from this draft this time around, Slex?
I don't know if we will see the Yrel. I'm curious if anyone plays Rexar. He's still pretty strong here. I wouldn't expect to see a Chromie picked up, especially if we're going to see some crazy beefy team from the side of YameteKudasai. If we recall, I believe Chromie was the first pick, so it was a very ambitious pick, not knowing what was up the sleeve of YameteKudasai that last game. Maybe we'll possibly see something more like a Jaina or a Raynor, just something old school, something to just pump out that consistent damage.
Yeah, nice thing about Dragonshire is we're going to see a nice matchup in the top lane, as it is one of those maps where you can't just soak the solo lane. You have to be able to win it a little bit to be able to hold the point and get those objectives out. So I'm excited to see what the offlaners for each of these teams decide to grab here. Last time in Volskaya Foundry, we had the Sonya and Yrel facing off in the bottom lanes, and Sonya was just holding her own and very dominant in the bottom lane. Managed to clear out the entire bottom wall by herself down there, which really opened the map up for when they capped that top Triglav protector. They were able to walk straight down and take the fountain and fort right away, and that was just down now for when Objective C came up.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm curious to see is if either of these teams try to go for the well snipe on Dragonshire. It's a pretty popular play these days to go and take that well out on the top lane. So the solo lane struggles a little bit more because they don't have that tap to back up to stay in the lane.
Right. I mean, that is a cheeky play. Definitely could be something that we see. Looks like we're having some issues in the lobby here. I think if we're going to see Bag of Richards pick up another blow-up comp, they're going to want to pick up something that has a little bit more burst and a little bit more sustained. Deckard Cain allows you to have healing basically on your own terms, and then if he does use his pot as a skill shot. But looking at the talents from that last game, he went Sapphire, Emerald, and Ruby. So having those three options just made it very situational as to which one he would use. And we all know that Ruby was nerfed a bit, now has the 20-second cooldown. Maybe it just wasn't the pick there, especially without having a cleanse. It was Gladiator's Medallion just wasn't enough for that team.
Yeah, I don't really, if they try to, I think their best bet going into this is just to kind of ban that whole thing out, because definitely it's just very oppressive in every team fight. Having the earthquake with the stage dive with the purification salvo.
And I mean, ETC taking stage dive isn't uncommon on this map either. So when we were in the draft, I was speculating that possibly ETC would be banned, but taking that first pick, Chromie, really choked them out on tanks because Garrosh had already been banned, then Johanna. It was just a rough time. So I think we'll see some more strategic drafting on the side of the Richards. If not, then we'll just see some comfort picks, and they will be hoping for the best.
Do you expect any target bans coming out after game 1?
I mean, not really. They can either choose to ban or pick the ETC, I would say. Like, if they're not comfortable with playing it, I would definitely get rid of it.
I think too, a map like Dragonshire, and they just shown that they like to play stage dive ETC, he could be kind of annoying here.
Absolutely.
They're gonna ban that May
again. Yeah. We might even see an ETC ban from the side of YameteKudasai. I mean, they were all about choking out those tanks last game. They did ban Cassia as their first ban of the last game. They're going to do that again. So the Richards have to either ban or pick that ETC. Honestly.
Sorry, this map must have been picked by YameteKudasai then, if Richard and Ree have first
Yes,
pick.
it was.
Okay.
It was.
I had that put in wrong.
All right, they want to ban that white main. She is able to heal up burst comps just so well. Makes perfect sense. There's the Rexar ban. Definitely good. If you're not going to pick it up first, you want to ban it. There is the ETC though, Jazzy. Exactly what was expected. If they weren't going to ban it out, they had to pick it up. Definitely a better pickup than a Chromie. And Angie just taking this opportunity to pick up the Johanna. They were expecting the ETC to be picked or banned, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be letting it through again if I was on the side of Richard, and Ree. Joanna, I think it's pretty standard tank pickup here. I wouldn't want to leave tank until after the second round of bans because they're starting to already choke on tanks. You have May taken off the table, ETC picked on the side of Richard, and Ree, and I can almost guarantee if they hadn't have grabbed a tank, they're going to ban another one away. Likely we might see a healer ban coming out instead now, as they haven't picked a healer on the side of YameteKudasai, and they've now locked their healer in. I like this combo. The Maiev ETC can be quite fun to play into as well. You do a Warden's Cage with a Mosh in there and everyone's getting pulled back into the Mosh. It's kind of fun.
With silences just all around.
Yeah, the silence in the Warden's Cage as well. So they're kind of going for the Wombo combo comp this time instead.
The Orphea being banned almost seems like an either we don't want to play against that or a target ban situation.
Well, she's just like another amazing piece to that puzzle, right? You have a Warden's Cage, a Mosh, a Silence underneath the entire thing, and then an Eternal Feast to follow it all up. It's just, you know, the dream Wombo combo going on. You could maybe pair it with a Kael'thas instead and put a Phoenix over top, but Chomp is just so much better.
So possibly looking at seeing a mage. I was gonna say when we were speaking before this, we could see a global like Falstad picked up by one of the teams, and there it is. I cannot get behind Falstad as a fan of him. It doesn't mean that, you know, he doesn't add value or anything. His global presence is something that is great for teams, but I just I don't really care for him is what I'm saying. Mephisto though, super strong, being picked up. Durance being used in a Wombo scenario would be devastating as well.
Yeah, okay, and now maybe Talented Combustion as well. And you've just got everyone trapped in a Warden's Cage, Mosh, Combustion, Durance, or if he decides to go Consume Souls even with Silence underneath. Like they have like one big combo of abilities to use together that could just be devastating, like we saw in the first game on the side of Yametekudasai, if they can manage to pull it off.
If they can manage to interrupt Anduin's ultimate, that could save them all also. Because all of that being used without an Anduin interrupt, if he doesn't go for Light Bomb, would just be unlucky.
Well, you have the Silence, right? So, like, ideally everyone in the Warden's Cage, and you have a Silence underneath, and there's nothing. Like, you can't do anything. You have that Sonya picked up again on the side of YameteKudasai. Like I said, very dominant showing in the last game, so I'm excited to see how they play it this time.
Definitely oppressive. But here we are in game 2 in a best of 3. If YameteKudasai takes this, they take this whole set tonight. If we see the Richards pick up that W, we'll be headed to a game 3 for a tiebreaker. Let us know in chat which comp you like better. Looks like we're already seeing some talk here about heroes that aren't even here, like the Lost Vikings. And Murky. Interesting.
Personally, I love the draft of Richard, and Reed just because of that Wombo combo potential they have pulling out. I think it's going to be really fun to see them try to do that, and if they do it, it's going to be really exciting to watch them pull it off. I'm not saying that YameteKudasai's draft can't win. That's not the case. I'm just excited to see how they combo the abilities on the side of Richard, and Reed.
Prepare for combat.
Yeah, we do have a lot of escapes though on blue side with Sylvanas as well as Falstad. So it's going to be spicy. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. They can just get through that Warden's Cage with a barrel roll or the Banshees. On the left-hand side, we have YameteKudasai with Phaser on the Sonya, Chank playing the Falstad, Zedge on Sylvanas, Kick on the Anduin, and Angie playing the Joanna.
And on the red side, playing for Richard, and Ree, also known as Bag of Richards, we have Muffin on Mephisto, Richard Gere on Maiev, Blaze played by Crafty Devil, the Pie Maker on ETC and Creeper Z bot on Stupov.
Already going for that kill onto Kick, but he pops the Unstoppable and is going to be able to walk away here. That must have been the Gladiator's medallion coming out to save him already. So that's going to be on cooldown if they try to look for another pick on the Anduin, knowing that he doesn't have Cleanse Up. Joanna rotating here. And she just used her trait, so I don't think that's going to be up and available quite yet. Oh, it is. She's going to be able to walk away.
Yeah,
and Anduin
the
comes in
Wizards
for
are
the
being
save.
so aggressive this game, already using that leap of faith. You know, that is down, but this 4-man rotation from the side of the Richards is pretty crazy.
Now looking at the Falstad, but instead just backing up to grab that soak. Camps are now up and available to grab if teams would like to do that. It looks like Sylvanas is going to get on those Siege Giants right away. Let's take a peek up here to the top lane and see how the Blaze Sonya matchup is going. I mean, not much to say here. Solo lane just kind of soaking, doing their business. A little bit of damage going out onto Blaze, but nothing too extreme happening up there right now. Blaze is rotating mid to get that soak for his 4-man, allowing them to stick a bottom, clear out those Giants, and maybe get some pressure onto the bottom fort where the Giants, they just cap themselves.
Yeah, red team sliding in awfully close to the towers of the blue side, looking to possibly stack some things, get some kills, but Richard Gere is chunked down just a little bit.
They're doing a very good job pressuring this bottom lane right now, using that 4-man to their advantage. They do have the Anduin out of position right here, but he's going to be able to walk away. We have Sylvanas using her Banshees to escape, and no picks yet. Both of the camps dying off, and now they're just looking to hold bottom. Falstad sitting in this middle area, kind of just keeping vision, doesn't want to get caught on rotations potentially.
Yeah, and the Richards fought so close to those towers, holding this bottom point, trying to give Blaze the chance to get top, but I believe Falstad was just too oppressive up there. So looks like red team's going to keep the pressure going bottom lane, and until they have a 4v4, I think they're going to win this.
Yeah, I really like the way, oh wow, look at this combo coming out. 3 members killed for first blood, almost all at the same time.
That's the power
Anduin
of,
and Joe falling to the silence with the pull from the Maiev and all the follow-up damage from the Mephisto. Just brutal.
Yeah, the slide follow-up with the face melt just really gave them no opportunity to control their characters, and that was an excellent job.
So here's the thing that's happening is Blaze is doing a rotation between mid and top to get the soak, but it's allowing Sonya to kind of run it down top lane. He's already missing the healing fountain up there. Sonya's taken that out. So he doesn't have that to back up to tap if he's going to contest top, which means they're eventually going to need to send some help up top to be able to cap that.
Well, Falstad is flying down bot now behind the entire team of the Richards, having to use his barrel roll to get on the other side. So instead of sending someone up, blue team decided to send someone down, and Blaze is making his way just to middle lane to get some soak. So it doesn't seem like the Richards are too concerned about capping top, but rather taking this bottom fort, and Siege
absolutely, and I think that's the play that they should be doing. They open up this bottom fort. They're doing it much faster than Sonya is doing it solo in the top lane. And you know, they can't really contest this push. I mean, why not just go straight for keep here as well?
Yeah, they're doing what they can. Sonya is now on the Bruiser camp. She's aware of everything going on, but deciding to create pressure in another lane so that maybe they relent just a bit. Both siege camps are up again, and looks like we're seeing the Richards go for the one belonging to the side of YameteKudasai.
They're going to try and contest this. Joanna coming in to stand on the point. She does pop her trait here, so that's going to be down. Richard Gere getting quite low. Silence coming out on the camp, and it looks like he's going to fall here. So YameteKudasai starting to find their footing, but in order to do that, they had to send Sonya down to make that a 5v4. They are going for the invade now on the side of Richard, and Green.
All the while, though, we do have the Richards, both points being channeled in their favor. Sonya there to defend, and Not sure if this is going to get any value. Sonya has gone back top lane to get on that point while the Bruiser camp is pushing, with Blaze having to clear that. And it's just starting to get pretty crazy, honestly.
Yeah, Richard, and Ree just slightly ahead on XP, but both teams pushing towards level 10s right now. Oh. Sonya's left the game.
Hero has abandoned the battle.
Well, living up to the reputation that you set earlier. Definitely the series so far with the most pauses this week.
Yep. You'll love to see it. Are we switching back to cams? Because I turned mine off. Oh, wait. It looks like they're ready. All right. You do the countdown. I'll do the ready. Or I'll do the unpause.
Okay, cool. Ooh.
Our missing hero has returned.
Here we are. Back to
level. Yeah, level 10's now hit on the side of Richard, and Ree. We do have that Warden's cage being picked up by the Maiev. Mosh coming out from the ETC. Combustion from the Blaze. The massive shove from Stukov, yes. And finally, we have the Endurance of Hate coming out from the Mephisto here. So kind of what we expected to see.
Looks like they were looking for a fight, but level 10s have also been picked up this time by YameteKudasai. We do have Light Bomb, Gust, Blessed Shield, Wailing Arrow, and Sonya already used her ultimate. It is Wrath of the Berserker.
I'm really excited to see now at this point how Richard and Ree pull off these wombo combos with their ults up.
Yeah, having that disengagement ball set is going to be critical for the side of YameteKudasai, but with this team comp, we're able to see Richard and Ree just fight right next to these towers and annihilate them. It was powerful before in that bottom lane, but this middle fort is just completely exposed now.
Falstad needs to be
the Blessed Shield.
A little careful in the rotation. He was looking kind of spooky there because Maiev and ETC had something on, but the pressure into mid is going to allow him to rotate safely, and a lot of damage going out onto Richard and Ree, so a little bit of pushback happening here, and a crazy little arrow from
I'm seeing that.
Little visual bug going on.
But also, Endurance of Hate was used in that middle tussle. So
hang on, here's the Mosh immediately interrupted by the Condemn, and Gus going out. Now we have the Warden's Cage. Silence coming out, sitting in that bush there. It's going to be landed onto the Joanna. And it's just going to have to see if it's going to be enough damage to do anything off of it. We have the Q resets on the Maiev, just pumping out the damage, and it is going to be enough to at least make YameteKudasai back up for now.
Not having that Endurance of Hate, having that used middle lane was the missing piece of the puzzle they needed down there to get those picks. They could chunk them all they want, but they're just not powerful enough without that puzzle right now to get those kills. The silence was on point. I mean, everything was on point, but having that Gladiator's Medallion also was part of what saved the Johanna there.
Power Slide connecting onto the Falstad here. We have Blessed Shield coming out, connecting on the two members of Richard and Ree, and they're looking to try and disengage from that, but they're going to get the pick onto Sylvanas. Massive shove coming out, just knocking Antoine up towards that top Bruiser camp. Falstad needs to be kind of careful here. If he steps a little bit too far forward, ETC sitting ready in that bush to stun him.
Right, Endurance was used in that fight down there, and here they are again, up next to these towers, able to just chunk them down. Mephisto just wiggling around everywhere, able to just get this damage with no problem. This Bruiser camp is putting pressure on this keep already, and it's just another push. They do have a talent tier advantage, or they did, at least for a little bit. 13's now picked up for the side of YameteKudasai. And it looks like we're seeing a rotation from the Richards, possibly onto the Sonya if they're able to get it. Sonya's too woke, as they say. Able to make it right out.
Gonna grab those siege camps on the right hand side. And it looks like
Blaze is headed top to possibly get this top channel point and allow the Richards to get their first Dragon Knight of the game, if they win this mid-team fight.
Weird not Gus there. I think he's probably holding it as it is their one disengage from like the big combo they have going out. There goes the Mosh. Durance coming out as well. They have Light Bomb coming out. Landed right into the silence there, and now just a lot of going back and forth. Combustion coming out, connecting onto a lot of YameteKudasai. Looking to try to get the pick onto Sylvanas or the Falstad, but not for free because it's going to be the Mephisto falling as well. We saw the Maiev go down quite early in this team fight.
There was a Mosh in one quadrant, a Warden's in another, and a Durance in another. They really need to communicate who their target is here, because when ETC went for that Mosh, Gust was used, but the Blessed Shield used right after it just caused chaos and desynchronization from the side of the Richards.
Yeah, I think they need a little bit more communication as to what's going on in these fights, because these abilities that they have here are definitely stuff you kind of want to combo together, and that's exactly what we're seeing is Mosh being used, not followed up by a Durance, not on the Mosh, followed up by a Warden's Cage, not in the Durance. Like, it's just a little bit messy in these team fights, but they have the potential here to turn this around. The Root Silence talent being picked up by the Stukov here manages to catch Joanna for a little bit and do the 3v2 for a second here. Falstad showing up though, along with the Anduin, now making it a 4v3 in favor of YameteKudasai. And here comes the Light Bomb connecting onto the Stukov and the Maiev. Now they're looking to try and run away here. Unfortunately, Maiev falls as well. Mephisto making it out safely. Meanwhile, in the mid,
tons of damage comes out there.
Sonya's just been holding her own 2v1, 1v2.
Blaze taking a risky play at getting this Bruiser camp with 2 members of his team down, but Falstad deciding instead to channel top and allow blue team to possibly pick up this Dragon Knight. We still have 10 seconds on Stukov and 10 seconds now on the Maiev. Looks like Anduin is here trying to channel this Dragon Knight. Muffin trying to stop with these missiles, but oh my god, the damage from that Mephisto is just so intense.
Well, that created enough space for Blaze to be able to cap that top, so they're not going to be able to get the Dragon Knight here. It looks like they're going to do a rotation bottom, cap bottom, let Blaze have a little bit of time to get away from the rotation that's going on top. So we're going to be playing a little bit of Ring Around the Rosie on Dragonshire here, as teams just soak XP and try to look for the next opportunity to get a pick and potentially force the Dragons.
The only difference, though, is that the keep is gone for the blue side in that bottom lane, and having the Richards pick up this Bruiser camp is just going to put more pressure there, and essentially we will have to see YameteKudasai deal with that. So
Blue team has destroyed a fort.
I don't know. Both teams level 17 now. Highmaker looking for just anchoring at this point.
Yeah, it seems like YameteKudasai are aware that that's not a safe rotation. They're going to come in the safe way. Falstad coming in. Here comes the Gust into the fort, followed up by the Condemn, and now we have the Light Bomb coming out from Anduin. Warden's Cage goes out, but it's not going to be enough to save them here. Muffin getting quite low. We have the Mosh being popped by ETC, catches Joanna, but it doesn't matter because 3 members of Richard, and Ree fall in this fight, and the chase is on now for the Stukov as well. Falstad securing that last kill, a 4-0 in favor of Richard, and Ree. Or
yeah,
sorry, in favor of YameteKudasai.
I may not like Falstad as a hero, but those Gusts have been critical in shutting down the only organized attempt that we've seen from the Richards for their comp. And here they go, YameteKudasai picking up this second Dragon Knight, taking it straight to mid-fort.
Looks like Sylvanas is going to pop her trait on this fort here, and they're going to be able to get the bottom fort down as well. So getting a bunch of structures off these hills, which is great to see. That wall's still up in the bottom fort, so I'll need to be a little bit careful if they get caught on the disengage here about their pathing. But love to see.
The towers are still up, Jazzy.
Yeah.
They just went straight for the fort itself.
Yeah, and I love to see the Sylvanas trait getting value. A lot of times, you know, you get a Sylvanas on your team, and some of these teams don't utilize her trait as well as they could. Yeah, so we have the danger pings coming in, but Sonya hanging back to clear up that wall from the bottom fort, so they don't have to worry about tower damage if they do retreat through the here now.
crazy thing here, though, with those structures being taken down is that YameteKudasai is so close to 20, so we're going to have to see Richards here looking for a fight, possibly, before 20s are picked up. This Dragon Knight is about gone. Highmaker flanking from this bush, looking at possibly sliding in, and there's the slide. There's the Warden's Cage and being caught. The light bomb put onto her. It does not connect with anyone, and combustion is used. Fraser taking so much damage, and popping her trait, hoping to live, makes it out, and just Richard, and me are just getting 2 chunks, but Blaze wants to go back in for seconds. And blue team just knows, nope, we want 20s, sorry, we've used our cooldowns, like, we're good. You guys can work on, you know, possibly getting more experience. I think this is looking even more and more favorable for the blue team at this point, Jazzy.
Yeah, it seems like as the game goes on, they're just scaling a little bit nicer and managing to win these team fights. Again, it's just like that coordination from the alternate side of Richard, and Rhee. It's not happening. We saw the Durance come out onto the soloed onto the Joanna, so nobody else caught in that. She just popped her trait and walked right out of it. Again, like Warden's Cage comboed onto a couple members with nothing really there to follow up on it. So you just see like a little bit more communication on the side of Richard, and Rhee, and these team fights could be turned in their favor.
If anything, though, they did juke out that light bomb and it did not connect. That would have been a lot more devastating, and a keep gone for sure had that landed. Level 20's almost picked up. Oh my god, Muffin almost also picked off right there.
Prepare yourselves, heroes. The shrines will soon be active.
She's still taking quite a bit of damage doing this poke here.
20's picked up now for both teams. Shrines active in 12 seconds. And both teams have, I would almost say, win conditions at this point. If they get a 5-man team wipe on the side of Richard, and Rhee, they can definitely just go through bottom lane.
Both shrines.
Look at this
Same
ETC
thing.
kind of sitting on the flank there, deciding it's not quite safe for him to be there. The rest of his team's backed up and a little bit further away to follow up on anything. Looking to re-engage on this bottom here, and it really is just going to come down to this last team fight.
Right. Johanna using her trait does go into the team. There is the
Mighty Gust.
Oh my god, that light
Here's the
bomb.
Warden's Cage as well, followed up by the Mosh, and here's the silence underneath the members of YameteKudasai. Down goes the Sonya and the Joanna. No frontline left to help the rest of the team peel off, and we're going to see the Falstad and the Anduin fall as well here. 4 members down on the side of YameteKudasai. Bottom keep already down. Is this a core call, Slex?
Yes, like I said, they both have their win conditions. That's all that we needed to see from Richard, and Rhee was an excellent team fight. The Durance and Hate really locked and sealed that in. It was finally executed as it should have been. And they are here at this core. Only Sylvanas left to defend. There's just no way she can do that on her own. And I think it looks like we're going to be going to game 3, unless I am caster cursing this and I'm incorrect. But I highly doubt it because this core is dropping rapidly as it's just at 44% now and falling.
Richard, and Rhee finally able to pull off that beautiful combo they had set up. The Warden's Cage into the Mosh with the silence underneath, killing the front line of YameteKudasai to secure the win here.
Yeah, they could have just been saying, just play till 20, then we wipe them and we run it down bot. Because that's exactly what they did. As long as they didn't lose before that, they had what they needed. And really, all they needed was to coordinate enough to get that Mosh, that Warden's Cage, the Durance as well. The light bomb almost took them out, but the damage was just too intense for blue team to live. And it was crazy. Like I said, both teams had their win conditions.
Yeah, I especially liked that they waited until the Gust came out in that last team fight before they tried to pull that combo off, and they managed to catch the people that could stop the combo from happening, the Joanna and the Sonya. So with the silence underneath, she couldn't pop Blessed Shield, her Unstoppable, and it was just your front line's dead and not really much to save you from the rest of the team falling there. So very well played, good patience coming out of the side of Richard, and Rhee. I'm excited. We're going to a game number 3 here, so I can't wait to see what they bring.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be spicy because the two comps that we saw from Bag of Richards just didn't compare to each other. So it shows they have a lot up their sleeve. They can adapt. And the way that they were using that Mephisto to just fight right next to those towers near the forts really allowed them to just take structures early on in the game and open up the map for them.
I can't wait to see this team grow during season 10 of NGS, because this comp that they have in their pocket here to pull out, definitely devastating. And if they can get this down in the future and be able to communicate and combo it even more efficiently, it's going to be crazy to see them as they grow throughout the season.
Yeah. I'm just excited to get into this third game. Waiting for that lobby link. Richard Gere active in chat. He loves the spotlight.
Oh.
His nickname is actually Dicky, if you guys did not know.
Yeah, Bag of Richards. I got the joke.
Oh, looks like the lobby's up. It just wasn't linked. You can join off of me.
All right.
And we are headed to, oh my god. Where do you think we're going, Jazzy?
Hanamura.
Yes. Yep. We are headed to Hanamura.
I just knew based on your reaction. Oh my god, like, because I didn't expect this one. Hanamura. First time I got to cast it yesterday. One of the teams picked that as their first map option. It's kind of... This map's interesting because objective not really as important as just getting camps here and maybe pushing with camps. Definitely can help in situations, but grabbing those camps and winning, just contesting on camps and team fighting, a lot of the time you end up just having this, the way the camp timer works is you can just kind of run around and grab the camps. Now you have two turrets and they have to defend sentinels, and you can fight them and win again and run around and grab the camps, and now you have turrets again and sentinels pushing. So it's really a hard map to come back on sometimes. So I'm interested to see how this one plays out. Who picked this one?
I'm guessing this was picked by Richard, and Ree. So, because typically if you lose, you go for first pick. So let me just ask. I asked like a caveman. I was like, "Repick this."
Yeah, let's give the viewers a little rundown of how we got here. Game number 1 played on Volskaya Foundry. That one picked by YameteKudasai, and they did manage to pull off the win here. Game number 2, YameteKudasai taking us to Dragonshire, and Richard, and Ree really showing up with the Wombo Combo comp and managing to secure the win there. Bringing us to game number 3, now on Hanamura Temple. This one picked by Richard, and Ree this time. I am ready to get into this.
I am too. But I think this may warrant a Sonya ban. For you know what I mean? She's oppressive, but like in those team fights on Braxis, she was on the back line, and just her ability to pick up camps is so strong.
Definitely seems to be a comfort pick for Phaser here, so it might be something that they want to look at getting rid of. Also very dominant showing on the Sonya tonight, having no trouble holding their own against a Urel and then the Blaze in game number 2.
All right, well, this is our game 3 in a best of 3. Whoever takes this dub here takes tonight. And curious if we will just see the Cassia ban again, or if maybe no one is allowed ETC tonight. Maybe we'll see that from one team or the other.
Yes, ETC appearing to be a pretty important piece to both sides of the comps and the winning teams tonight. So we might see him banned this time around, or if not, definitely first picked on the side of YameteKudasai, as they do have that first pick this time around.
See the Lost Vikings ban though. So if that was something that Red Team had up their sleeve, it's no longer an option, and there is the ETC ban. They're just like, all right, we're playing based on what we know These are target bans. These are bans of things that we aren't necessarily going to go for, or we know we can't get, and that's why we're seeing Bag of Richards just completely get rid of the ETC. Will we see the Cassia ban here, though? No, it's Li Ming instead.
So I'm wondering if Richard, and Ree kind of have an idea of how they want to play this map, considering they were the ones to pick it. And Vikings band coming out here, I'm wondering, do they have somebody on the side of Richard, and Ree who like to run Vikings, all three in one lane?
Possibly. I mean,
The wait is
the only
over.
other explanation is that even if they don't know, it's just something they don't want to deal with. Cassia, though, being the first pick by Zeej. I'm guessing it's Zeej. It might be Zedge. May banned again, so possibly a strong tank pickup for these first two picks on the side of the Richards. Instead, we see the Greymane again, this time paired with Stukov. So
Joanna up and available if YameteKudasai wants to pick that up as their tank again here. They're going to grab that Murd, and instead, interestingly enough, it's not Angie tanking this game. It's going to be Kick switching onto the tank role. We saw Angie play the ETC game 1 and the Joanna game 2, but this time, Kick on tanks.
So Johanna and Garrosh available still. Lucio, which I believe was banned last game, getting picked up as healer for the side of YameteKudasai. I can't speculate. Maybe that Sonya ban here is what they need. Based on yep, there it is.
Yeah,
I can speculate, Jazzy. I can.
I was just going to say, with what's left up and who needs to pick, I think a very easy target ban right now is that Sonya, and that's exactly what they're going to grab here. I can expect probably a tank ban coming out on the side of YameteKudasai. I'm kind of surprised that Richard, and Reed didn't pick up their tank in the first half of the draft, as they already banned out 2 tanks themselves. And YameteKudasai grabbed their tank, so now there we see the Joanna coming out, so now there's 4 tanks out of the game, and their options are going to be limited. It might be that Anubarak again, as we saw them play earlier.
Or the Garrosh. I mean, they could pick that up, but how well does Garrosh play into these heroes that they have selected so far? The Lucio, the Murid, and the Cassia. It might be a more viable option than the Anubarak. That's for sure, but just not really sure. There's the Orphea and the Urel offlane picked up, so tanks still being held. They need a bit more information, I think, before they decide, considering they're put in such a choke. But they do have the Anubarak as well as the Garrosh to go with.
Here comes the Thrall being picked up by Phaser this time.
Could it be an Arthas tank? With Thrall and Cassia and Akira? Might not be a bad pick. I know it's squishy, but having Orphea in the mix up there in the front line too might be a good thing. Instead, we're seeing a taunt Varian, possibly.
Ooh. So it kind of looks to me that they're trying to go for that single target blow up strategy again, and that didn't quite work out for them in the first game.
But the silences were exceptional from Creeper. If he's able to plop that down right under the taunt, I don't really see anyone being able to get out with the burst potential from Orphea and Greymane. It's just if Stukov is dead, though, I think the whole thing just won't work out for them.
I mean, keep in mind, Lucio's gonna go sound barrier most likely at level 10, so I think the shields from that, they're gonna have to burn through that to get the kill as well. I don't know, the tools are there that they might be able to keep the taunt target alive. I've mentioned this before, I'm not a fan of Varian tank
right
comps.
And I think I am a fan of taunt Varian. So I believe in it, especially because I don't feel like Lucio becomes an actual healer until level 16. So I'm not sure. Will he go sound barrier? Will he go high five? I don't know. Most likely sound barrier, yes, but
We have chat calling that it's going to be a Colossus Smash variant.
okay. Well, I hope they're right.
Urel tank main. That doesn't really play into how they've been playing their roles tonight, though, but we'll see what ends up happening here.
Never
We
do
have
an Amazon.
YameteKudasai on the left-hand side, with Zedge playing the Cassia, Kick on the Muradin, Phaser on the Thrall, Angie on the Lucio, and Shank playing that Kira.
Battle commences
And on the
in
right-hand side,
10
playing for
seconds.
Richard, and Rih, we have Muffin on Orphea, Richard Gear on Greymane,
4,
Crafty
3,
Devil playing the
2,
Urel,
1.
the Pie Maker on Varian, and
Let
Creeper
the
Z
battle
Bot
begin.
on Stukov.
We're going to see a gank on the solo lane here. I know in a lot of my games I like to try and do a switch with the solo lane because
Right.
the Sentinels on the top camp, and that's exactly what they're kind of walking up here to do. Unfortunately, though, they're all showing, so and Kira's not stepping out from the gate anyway, but they're
Oh.
going straight to just
They're not
start the
hiding
siege
it.
bit. No.
It's not that they're showing, they're just not hiding, they're going for siege. Kira already going in, doing a little bit of damage. His towers
Oh no,
are
Richard
also
getting
helping
quite
her.
low here.
Richard Gear, hello?
The Thrall with the Q poke manages to get that kill on them. Not really securing too much off that top fort, and they're going to end up losing a couple members here for it. Now the Stukov getting caught here.
That was a bold move, but Muffin fully healthy, just kind of chunking blue team down. Surprisingly though, both teams still pretty close in experience. Those kills didn't get much for them, and Red did manage to get a tower. Wipeout in chat mentioning the level 13 talent shield breaker on the Varian if Sun Barrier is taken, which is a valid point as well.
Yeah, it's true. We do have those camps up and available. Sentinel camp being grabbed now by Richard, and Rhi, and it does look like we have Cassia and Muradin working on the Sentinel camp on the side of YameteKudasai. Vision camp being capped by Thrall and the Kira in the top lane. And we have turret being worked on by Greymane.
Yeah, vision points are so important on this map, not only because they get you the vision, but they just are constantly providing experience when you need it the most. It's almost like getting it early and letting someone else take it back gives you the option to take it back as well.
To take a minute to note that at level 1, Varian's going Lion's Maw. And he does grab that taunt, though, at level 4. Orphea also choosing to talent into Growing Nightmare. We see a lot of Orpheas pick the trait talent at level 1, so it's an interesting pickup as well. Beautiful knockback onto that Cassie on the bottom lane from the Urel, almost pushing her off the front wall a little bit.
There was the dive to blow up onto the Thrall. Pie Maker, though, taking so much damage from the tower, is able to make it out. And Muffin is just safely nestled in between the entire team, getting consistent damage. Already we see 6,800 damage coming out from the Orphea. And I think this is looking pretty strong so far for the side of Richard, and Rhi.
Yeah,
That top
up
fort already
almost-
took some damage.
And up almost a level on XP as well. Varian trying to go in for that taunt, but doesn't quite manage to land it. Instead has it back off here.
So one thing to note is all 5 members together for the red team. They did rotate down to the bottom, which was, I guess, allocated to the solo lane here. There's Pie Maker going in for the taunt. Kira wanting to stop that. Cleanse being used, and now we're just seeing chomps on chomps with 2 turrets down. Both teams getting chunked, and it's just really hard to articulate what's happening, but we do see the Cassia fall and unrelenting damage coming out from the side of Richard, and Rhi. Blue team split a bit. Are they going to continue? No, they're not. Looks like they're going to meet up with the payload, heal up a bit, and go from there.
We do have those Sentinels coming up in about 20 seconds here as well, so you might just see teams backing off to get ready to take those. And that looks like what's going to happen. Sentinel on Richard, and Rhi up right now, so they're going to grab that. And in just a few short seconds here, we're going to see the Sentinel come up on the side of YameteKudasai. Now they are pushing towards level 7, so they could maybe look for that invade if they want to try to do that.
Jesse, I don't know if you caught this, but Muradin just walked right up to the Sentinel with all 4 members of Richard, and Ree just to get a stack of his Q and walked right out. They could have turned on him and killed him, but he's stacking, and that's important.
Level 7's picked up now on the side of Richard, and Ree. They're grabbing that vision camp and now pushing in the objective here. Greymane on the turret camp. Meanwhile, Lucio and Thrall trying to pick up that Sentinel camp. Thrall taking quite a bit of damage in doing so, though. So they're not going to be able to get that out here. They need the help of their tank to kind of zone off, which is leaving enough time for Richard, and Ree to be able to invade this camp, get off that objective in 5-man on the Sentinel camp of YameteKudasai.
Yeah, having Muradin and Kira show top lane on the Sentinel was definitely the right call for Richard, and Ree to go for the invade there and take that for themselves. They're in a good position here. Keeping these camps going out, the map is slowly turning red. The only turret or objective that's been picked up macro-wise from the side of YameteKudasai is their own turret, and that was dropped in the bottom team fight.
Here we're going to see that objective, first objective being pushed in favor of Richard, and Ree, sieging up on the bottom fort here. Varian's landing that taunt onto the Muradin. Orphea following up with a lot of damage, and the silence coming up from Stukov to ensure that he can't just dwarf toss out of there, and that's going to be a kill onto the Muradin. You know,
Yeah,
usually hard to actually kill the tank off of the taunt, but Richard, and Ree doing an excellent job there of just focusing the Muradin down with the silence to kind of secure any escape he had.
The level 7 talent by the Stukov growing infestation allowed that silence to just expand, and there was no way Muradin could get out. There was just enough time to get that kill. Kira is alone top, but it looks like we're seeing the Richards go for this turret instead. Here's
what I was kind of saying earlier about Hanamura is you get ahead in the game and you just start doing that camp rotation. So they won the bottom fight, now they're looking at, they invaded the Sentinel, now they invade the turret, and now they just look to get fit fights where they want. They're going to get that level 10 right now. They're up 2 turrets, and you know, everything's just kind of in their favor from here on forward. It's really, at this point, you know, they just got to make sure not to throw. They're in an excellent position to win this match at the moment.
Right, bottom force is completely gone. The Sentinel's getting picked up. Blue side is not even close to level 10. They're having to use what I was talking about, the experience from these vision camps to get, you know, closer and closer, but the Richards want this fight. Nope, they want this vision
up
camp
level
back.
10s. They're gonna just take that right back, maybe even look for picks while they're at it. And they have their Sentinel pushing top, so they can look to siege in this top fort now and open up the map a little bit more to get a bit more value off of those objectives if they do push those in later in the game.
What's interesting though is that blue team has their tank bottom lane. He is just now rotating up. Level 10's not yet picked up, and this Sentinel is doing quite a bit of work. Big Genji just hacking away at the fort, and it will fall and push forward to this keep.
Oh, stun landing onto the Greymane here. Followed up by the root by the Thrall, but the Sentinel doing a good job of deciding to slice right there, kind of zone the team off of them. A little scared to take some damage here. Still being down those level 10s. And here we see once again a rotation onto the Sentinel camp of YameteKudasai. Level 10s are up and available for them here, so they can look to contest, but there is 2 turrets on the side of Richard, and Ree for them to drop. Actually, 3 turrets.
There's the Curse Bullet, the silence coming out, the crush, the chomping coming out from the Orphea with flailing swipe this time from Stukov. Richard Gere is the one to fall. 3 turrets in hand, only 1 used in that fight. Here's Muradin coming in. The Pie-Maker looking for a taunt, living through all of that damage. Cassia and Lucio fall. And we're going to see another kill onto the Kira, and certainly this big Genji will be picked up.
Here comes the Thrall getting caught here as well. That taunt up in just a moment here. Here comes the taunt, and down goes the Thrall. Now looking to pick up that Sentinel camp. Still up a turret too on the side of Richard, and Ree. Amazing job turning that 4v5 back around after losing the Greymane early on in the fight.
Yeah, we are seeing the power of these taunts mixed with the silence. Also, Crafty Devil on this Urel, knocking people back where they need to be to get murdered, essentially. And I think this is a level 13 talent tier advantage for the Richards, and they don't want to give up. The next person is Kira to possibly fall. Crafty Devil staying hot on her tail. She makes it out with 80 health, though. This time she's
Rel,
the one in trouble.
Careful not to lose this turret here. Varian going back in, trying to create some space, but it's going to end up costing him his life. YameteKudasai has some members that are quite low. They need to be careful chasing again here because they're down that Kira still and very low health on the Lucio.
Sentinel camp up again for the side of the Richards. They're picking that up like clockwork, just heading right to it. The turret camp will be up in 30 seconds, and they're still in a pretty good position. They have all of their structures. Keeps are exposed on both top and bottom lane. Actually, top lane does have the towers, and they have the talent tier advantage for a little bit. The objective hasn't been moved from middle yet. Looks like we're going to see the Richards get on that now.
I think this is not a bad idea to just kind of walk this in. The only other camp up on the map right now is this turret camp, so they can kind of do both of them at the same time. And they have the Sentinel pushing top as well, so if they hang around, they may be able to get some siege onto this top peak. Level 13s aren't yet hit for YameteKudasai, so they're not looking to, you know, engage too hard here. 2 turrets also up and available to use in these team fights for Richard, and Ree if they choose to. They could also use them as siege tools here as well.
Here's the assault on this top deep wall. Towers down. Big Genji, pretty healthy. Crafty Devil going and knocking back the Murden, who is taunted and completely exploded. Flailing Swipe coming out with the Earthquake underneath the entire team. They will back up, but they're coming back in for seconds. Sentinel does fall. 1 turret has been used. Actually, all of the turrets have been used at this point, but having 1 member down, the main tank for the side of YameteKudasai, the Richards are just going to be able to take this game. Will they stop?
Here comes the taunt and the full damage onto Kira. And we have Urel knocking back the Cassia into the silence as well, so they're going to be able to secure the kill there. I mean, the level difference in these teams right now,
although they're on the same
huge.
talent here, yeah, it's just these constant picks are really working out in favor of the Richards. Having those staggered deaths is allowing them to just get every single macro objective when it's up. And I mean, what do you think that we need to see from the side of YameteKudasai to come back into this game, Jazzy?
I mean, like I said, on Hanamura, once you get that advantage, it's just playing ring around the rosy with the camps, and that's exactly what Richard and Ree is doing. It allows you to get that like 3-level lead. Unfortunately, it makes it really hard for YameteKudasai to come back here. As you're seeing, there's 2 members going down on the side of YameteKudasai. They're doing what they can to try and get those picks, and it's not quite working out for them. Razor now getting caught here. Lots of damage going out to him. Right. Silence from the Stukov. Taunt landing onto the Cassia. Urel knocking them back, and we have the shield coming out from the Lucio to just kind of save them. They want to try it. Lucio just stepping up a little bit too far. Manages to get kicked off there. They're trying to save that keep, but it's just not working. I mean, they're doing what they needed to do. I think they tried to force that fight before level 16s were online for Richard and Ree. Yeah, it's just hard. You're so far behind. You need to get a fight on equal talent tiers. Freeze the lanes potentially and pick up soak in areas safe. If you're clearing the lane and pushing out too far, you're just going to get rotated onto and ganked.
Right. They need to fight on their terms. Yeah, and Murden's picked off. These are just devastating fights for YameteKudasai at this point.
I don't
they
really
are nowhere
know
near level 16.
What YameteKudasai was trying to do there. I mean, you had only 3 members there to fight that, and you E in as the Murden using your only escape. I'm not sure. I'm a little confused.
Yeah, it's a hard game to cast. It's a hard game to play, I'm sure, for YameteKudasai. What they can do is look for more experience, but the objective is going to allow the Richards to just have damage go straight onto the core.
Yeah,
not even level 15
that,
yet for blue side.
And you have that Sentinel camp pushing in top with a big wave as well. That's going to secure any last health on the core if they're not quick to clear that up. So they're going to have to take a fight here. down a Talent here to try to do their best. Taunt going out onto the Murden, followed by all the blow-up damage. Silence underneath, and he's just deleted right away. Followed up by the Lucio. Didn't have that sound barrier up for the fight either, and so down goes the Kira and down goes the Cassia. Now this hits core. The rest of the team going to rotate and try to end this game right now with the help of the Sentinel in just a moment.
Right, they also have dropped a turret. I think the main issue this game is that the Stukov and the Orphea just were able to live their best lives, and that was the follow-up that the Taunt variant needed to get those kills. Excellent job played by Richard and Ree taking the dub here.
I think too you can almost kind of pinpoint where this match started to snowball in favor of Richard and Ree. They managed to get their Sentinel out a little bit earlier the second time it spawned in, leaving them able to come down and invade on the bottom turret while Murden and I believe Kira were showing top. That steal on the Sentinel camp just started the snowball of them being able to rotate and steal camps and putting YameteKudasai on the reaction instead of being proactive about how these camps are spawning in. Chat saying they think Sunder might have been the pick, to be honest. Yeah, Sunder might have actually helped a little bit better in terms of getting that taunt variant off the target, saving Murden a little bit.
I just messaged Richards asking them to send the captain to an NGS lobby for an interview.
Perfect. I didn't want to say that Stukov played an amazing game. Like, ensured that he always had his silence ups when he needed them and you know, really helped to secure those kills. I mean, Orphea and Greymane obviously play a huge part in getting kills off the taunt, but the silence really made sure that those targets couldn't use any abilities that would end up healing and getting themselves out safely.
Yeah, it was crazy. Let's go to lobby 2 and wait.
All right. I'll let you guys take a look at these talent builds while we do this.
All right, Muffin decided lobby 1 was the call instead of 2. Unlucky. So congratulations on that reverse sweep for you guys.
Yeah, thanks. It was a lot of fun.
So tell us about game 1 and what you felt you needed to do to come back after seeing what they went for with that purification salvo and stage dive with the earthquake. Did you guys decide, all right, we're just gonna play our comfort picks, or like, tell me what was going through your minds and how did you decide these drafts for games 2 and 3?
Drafting game in game 1, it was really rough. It felt like they had the answer to everything we had, and we just could not get anything done like us. Moving forward from that, we planned out the kind of comp we were gonna play before the actually drafting, and you know, it went a lot better. You know, we played comps we love playing, we played heroes we love playing, and you know, it just felt good after.
I'm sure it felt really good game 3 on that Orphea, just being able to live your best life. No one even touched you. Tell us about that unique blow-up comp that you guys created. How did you come up with that?
Variant Stukov, it's like it's basically a tried and true at this point, right? I think I've seen a lot of teams run it, and it is astoundingly effective when we can just go the entire draft basically uncountered. Like, even though now there's like a medallion, like you can't press it if you're silenced for 50 years. And that's very Stukov. This all silences.
Yeah, I had to give it to the Stukov that game. His silences were on point, really helping to ensure you guys were able to secure those kills off the taunt. I was really impressed that you could even taunt the Murden, and that's what was happening every single fight. You just taunt the Murden, and he would get deleted. Usually, you see these taunt variant comps come out, and if you're not careful about which target you taunt, you kind of end up turning around and being on the run because variant doesn't have as many tools in his kit to kind of peel and be a frontliner for his team.
Yeah, Muradin, like he's tanky only because of Avatar. Like that's where all his tankiness comes in. And you know, if he's silenced, he can't press his R button, so he just dies like anyone else.
So, a question about your comms in game 2. Although you did take the win, you guys sieged heavily, I believe, just all of the games except for the first one. It seemed like you guys weren't totally coordinated with the Mosh, the Durance, and the Warden's Cage. When did you and how did you finally get it all together? Or did you have this whole plan, like, we got to get to 20 and then we just win no matter what? Like,
Yeah,
it seems like your comms were a little scattered. Can you give some insight?
They were for sure. While we did, you know, like destroy their fort like super duper early, and we just ran it down bot basically. Once I guess the laning phase of the game ended, once Falstad and Sonya started joining the fights, they introduced a lot more chaos, and we were kind of basically caught by surprise with how effective the gusts were and how hard Sonya was to deal with. But in the end, you know, we scaled. Like, we got to 20, we had all our really cool Storm Talent tier upgrades, and we won one fight and won the game because we've already done so much work bot lane in the early game. They almost came back, but we held strong and pulled through.
I have a couple more questions. In game 3, we saw YameteKudasai ban out that Vikings. Is that something that you guys have typically run? Was that a target ban?
I can neither confirm nor deny whether we play Vikings or not.
You don't want to give up any strats for later on in the season. I get it.
If they banned Vikings, I don't know. Maybe they did.
Maybe it was a waste. Maybe it wasn't. Question mark.
Who knows? Question mark.
And then also going with the Hanamura pick as that last map there, is that a comfort map for you? Do you have a strategy in mind going into that one?
Oh, personally, I just really love playing 2-lane maps. I think 2-lane maps are the best maps in the game. Raxus being at the top.
Okay.
Hanamura is also really fun. Hanamura is pretty fun. And,
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Any other questions from you, Jazzy, before we get into the ones from chat?
No, let's hit up the ones from chat.
All right. Anthouse, I think, it says, ask Muffin if the rumors are true and they are actually MVP Black playing on Smurfs.
That's classified.
Okay, and that was a joke, yes. Dickie or Richard Gere asking, why is Pi so OP?
He's the highest ranked player on our team. Like, the guy is a freaking god. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Jazzy, next one.
Here's Muffin from HGC Korea.
Who's that?
That's from Aladdin.
HGC Korea. You know, I can't say I remember being in the HGC.
All right. Before we get to the question about your rash clearing up, are you the true murky one trick?
Yes.
Cool.
Confirms the murky, but won't say anything about the Vikings.
Will not clear. Has your rash cleared up? And then we have one final question.
Has my rash cleared up? I don't know. Has it? You tell me.
Interesting. What is Richard Gere's comms? Wait, ask Muffin what Richard Gere's comms are like with Pie Maker.
Richard is so nice and encouraging all the time. Every time Pie, you know, he may do something a little bit wrong, Richard's always there bringing Pie up, and he's really great about it. Always.
Oh yeah, as someone who's played with Richard Gere myself, I know that's not true. So excellent poker face. Anyway, Muffin, congratulations again. Let's get into some shout outs. Who would you like to shout out?
My first shout out is to all the friends in chat who came to watch. They make me want to play this game every day. And shout outs to you guys for casting us. Thanks so much. Shout outs to the enemy team for like, putting up a great fight. A lot of fun games. 3-game series. Gotta love those. And yeah, that's it.
It's our pleasure. Well, thank you so much, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Give me just a moment here to get everything set up. And we will switch back over to me and Slexia to end this off. All right. And here we are. Welcome back, Slex. What an amazing series. I'm so excited that went to game number 3 there. Richard, and Ree really just bringing a very dominant showing in that last game on Hanamura. Any last thoughts you want to get out there?
It was just exciting to see those unique comps. It wasn't like, oh, okay, this is this person's comfort pick. Clearly, we saw some multifaceted comps from both teams and some great ideas too for comps. Just with the blow up having that Orphea as well as the Greymane. I mean, Greymane's typical, but seeing it with Orphea was amazing. Seeing the Purification Salvo and the stage dive in game 1 was Galaxy Brain. It was just a great time, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing the comps that these teams put together. You could tell that every single one of their comps had a direction that they were going for and a synergy that they were trying to make work. It wasn't just, everyone picking a hero they're good on and hoping that they can make it work. So it was really fun to watch these teams make these comps and play them in, a coordinated way.
Yeah. But yeah, that's, I think, it for us tonight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it.
So I'm going to shut down stream and restart it and stick around and stream a bit more tonight. I cut my stream really short last night because I was had a sore throat after casting in the smoke and stuff. So stick around. Slex, where can people find you before we end the night off?
You can find me on Twitter at Slexia3. It's actually Slexia3, even though it says at Slexia. It's only the number because Venus basically screwed me up and I had to create a Slexia Twitter. Or you can find me at twitch.tv/Slexia. I also cast games and play games, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
All right.
Follow me if you want. I'll be playing in Girls Gang Squad tomorrow. Anyway.
Okay, well, thank you guys for coming to hang out tonight. Like I said, I'm going to just shut down stream, get rid of the delay, fire it back up, and maybe get into some HOTS, maybe get into some Among Us. I'm not really sure what I have planned here. I'm going to kind of see what some friends are up to, and we'll go from there. So stick around, and for those taking off, have a fantastic rest of your week.